Well, I am Jamila Page, please call me Jemmy, and I'm from Hamilton County. I was born and raised there for the most part, so I'm very familiar with a lot of the little things that go into making Hamilton Hamilton. Um, what I had to do as a senior issue leader is come up with an array of programming to offer in our county. We're starting to revamp everything, and I just wanted to make sure there's a lot of programming that was accessible to our residents. So when I was thinking about the needs, the first thing that came to mind was making sure we had accessible resources that were affordable for residents. In Hamilton County, we have a per capita income of about $25,000 and a 9.8% poverty rate. So when residents are trying to figure out what they're going to be spending their dollars on, it's focused first on their needs and then on their wants and where they're located within the county. For this particular program, one of the things that I wanted to make accessible were tip removal kits. There's no point in asking them to change their ways of how they're going to be removing a tip if they don't have the materials needed to safely do it. So I reached out to some of our cohorts, and Joe Allen Latman from Albany County was able to give us a box of tickets. So it saves my association on funding, and it allows us to give them to the residents for free. So we are making resources accessible. The second need for the county is education. There's no point in asking them to do something if we don't explain why. And currently, I don't know if you guys are on Facebook, but there's a lot of myth kind of surrounding ticks, how to remove them. Some people are thinking, oh, put some dish soap on, they're going to get angry or shrivel up and they're just going to fall right off. Ticks are relatively aggressive depending on the species. If they're hungry, they're starving, it's really not going to bother them. So I want to make sure that we're separating fact from fiction for the residents. We're giving them research-based information so that they can make informed decisions about what resources they want to use to keep themselves safe from ticks and kind of prevent that transmission of tick-borne illnesses. The third thing, which is really important, and that's why I have a map of Hamilton County, is accessibility, really transportation. There's no point in offering this type of programming to the residents if we can't get it to them. If you can see it, the more populated areas are really spread out. You have Speculator here, you have Wells, you have Indian Lake, and then you have Long Lake up here. Inlet and Racket Lake are smaller towns, so we do go and provide education there, but it's on a limited basis. It's about, I want to say, a 2-hour and 15-minute drive to get from Pasego to Inlet or Racket. So you really have to look at the county and think about just distance and timing and making sure that you're really using all of your resources in a responsible manner. Hamilton County has a land mass of about 1,800 square miles, and the population is under 5,000. It's like 4,861 people, something like that, and our population is getting smaller. So if you want to get to your residents, you have to go to them. And that can be a struggle, which is why we're hiring on a program educator 2 person. They'll be part-time, and we'll hopefully have them in our office by the end of May, potentially early June, so I'm super excited. And that's just going to allow us to increase the amount of programming we're offering in Hamilton County. Our audience, oops, that you should be able to see, that's okay. We have a interesting type of diversity in Hamilton County. It is not really physically or ethnically diverse. If you look here, you can see that 96.5% of residents are white. It's just the way that it is. But there's a lot of social and economic, religious diversity. And when you put in how desolate the different towns are, there are a lot of rivalries. There's a different type of living depending on where you are. If you're in the southern section of Hamilton County, you're closer to Gloversville, Albany. You really want to go to a Walmart, about an hour drive for us, that's really nothing. But if you're more in the Racket Lake area, Indian Lake, Long Lake, it's a little different. You plan your shopping trips a bit more than what I would do living in Pasego. So we do have a very diverse population, but you have to take that into consideration. It's probably not going to be as diverse as Cornell would generally be talking about when we're looking at having a certain type of board of directors or a volunteer populace. So when we're looking into expanding it, it's more getting people from different locations. We still want that racial and ethnic diversity. But if you have one person that's part of the minority section, that's probably going to be representing what you're seeing here. Goals and objectives. So, this is really disgusting. This is a tick and it's engorged. So for this program, one, I want residents to actually know what a tick looks like. We have a lot of forests. People maintain their yards fairly well. In prior years, ticks really weren't that much of an issue. I've seen one in all of my time of living in the county. But as I've noted this year, we've already had a resident coming to me for advice because they had a tick on their person after doing some yard work. So I just want residents to be aware of ticks and that they are an issue, and let them know safe IPM recommended techniques for removing ticks from their body, how to check for ticks, being able to identify the different species of ticks, recognizing what types of illnesses they carry, and a couple of other objectives. But overall, that's kind of what I'm looking at for this. We have a variety of designed activities. One is we're getting speakers to come and present within the county because I'm not a tick expert, so I've been doing a lot of research. And Joellen is coming up on May 28th to provide a 1.5-hour presentation to the community. We're hoping to have a really good turnout. If it's successful, we'll talk about having her potentially come up and offer other types of workshops for tick programming. We've also reached out to Paul Smith's Watershed Institute, but I haven't heard back if they're willing to present on the subject. We will be further developing an interactive presentation, which we will take to the different towns in the county. And with that presentation, we'll have interactive displays, one of which is a regurgitating tick. It's really fun, cool, exciting. And it's really easy to make. You just need a dog toy and straws and tape and fun. So it'll just be a really useful tool to help residents practice safely removing ticks, getting an idea of what to watch out for, what parts of the tick you're not going to grab onto. And then I have a list of resources when I was gathering my data for the community needs. I read an article from Governor Cuomo who announced that there was a Lyme issue in New York State. Also IPM, US Census Bureau. I also went to a couple of other areas like CDC. And that helped me design this program. I think that's about it for my presentation. So I'd like to make this a bit more interactive. Questions? If you don't have questions, that's okay.
How about a round of applause and then we'll do some talk.
Have you found a source for wallet cards for ticketing?
Yes. We can get you wouldn't actually get them through us. If you go into Box, there's actually a section of it that's dedicated towards tick research, and they have the little cards. You can order them. They're not super expensive. I think I priced them at like $400 for $60. If you wanted to do your own tickets, it would cost about $12 using those resources as they're recommended. But I've looked at how I can cut costs. So before our tick kits were donated, we were looking at charging residents about $5 to $7, and we were just, not having as nice of a pouch to paint it in, a slightly lesser quality magnifying glass. But the magnifying glass was really a key component. So, you have to make sure that you have that in there. But you can do it really inexpensively. We also looked into reaching out to another organization so we can partner up on different events like rabies clinics, and they would provide the tick kit, and then we would have the education and all the cool fun displays. So
When you go up to that northwestern corner, do you just take all of your things and piggyback them, so you go do a tick tabling and then do something else?
it depends on the programming. Because it's just myself and I'm going to sleep at some point and have lunch. I generally do one thing, but if I have to go and talk to people, then I'll schedule time before or after I'll try to travel with somebody like from another organization if we're partnering. So that way we save mileage on both. It's not quite as boring when you're traveling for at least an hour. So, and then we can really get together and talk about the needs of the community, get an idea what other types of gaps there are that Cornell can come and fit, and just make ourselves useful.
It is such a good point that you make about that Long Lake area, just driving through it, you wouldn't even think, like, that's the same county. Like,
Are you programming in the parks?
In what sense?
In the, doing evening programs or, you know?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not like a monthly programming as of this
No,
period of time, but we
But
do.
for outside, for people that are coming in from outside the area.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
You have a visitor population. You don't have a
We have the
very
tourist
large
economy.
population, but you have a large visitor population.
I know this program in specifically is focused more towards the tourists that are coming in and out of the county. One of the things I've noticed in my research, people aren't as concerned about people bringing ticks to and from different counties. For me, that's kind of a concern because we don't currently have a large tick population where I live. But just making sure that they're educated, checking their pets, so that hopefully we can keep our tick population limited.
Yeah.
But yes, all of this programming is open to everybody that's there at that specific period of time.
Do you think that's climate related, the fact that you don't have a large tick population? That's pretty bad here. Yeah.
I think it's a mix. I won't pull the map back up, but wherever you have a town, everything is fairly well maintained. People know, break up the leaves in the early spring and the fall. They stick to specific trails. It's always maintained for the most part where people are. And if we are going to the woods, you're wearing long pants, you naturally tuck your socks in because black flies are horrible. I don't know if you've been to the Adirondacks or visited, but it's just intuitive for residents to dress appropriately. I think it's partially because we're not out exploring various sections of the Adirondack Park that you're not seeing all of the ticks. We know they're there.
I don't think there are that many. I really don't. I did Northville Lake Placid last year. I hiked the trail. And you didn't get a single one. Didn't see, and I'm looking for them all the time.
I think the deer population is lower.
Yes.
So there's not as much of a population.
Yeah.
I know from personal experience, it depends on the year, what your deer population is going to look like, how harsh the winter was. I think they're coming. I think it's a matter of time before they start to reach Hamilton County. We have quite a population of them in St. Lawrence. I believe it was the Sally? I can't pronounce it, but they were found with an illness other than Lyme disease. So that was one of the things that kind of triggered the need for this education offer. Even if they're not specifically in Hamilton County where people are going, you have to travel. You can kind of see to get to like a Walmart or a specialty food store. If you have to get technology or shovel, you have to travel for it.
We're dealing with them all over. I have a house on Foot Hill and we don't tend to have. They're just aren't along there. My dogs don't get them. I don't get them. So I don't know if
You're
there's
not Sweden.
a little bit of this in the fun. No, I get bitten. I'm a magnet, man. If they're in the area, I'm bitten.
I know the backside of Pasigo Lake. I don't know if you've been in that area. I have friends and they have dogs and they've gotten Lyme disease. Their children, their daughter has gotten Lyme disease. I have a member on my board who's gotten Lyme disease a couple of times, and I know that's debatable if you can get it multiple times if you're But I'm not sure for him if he got it when he was out hunting or if he got it within the Adirondacks. So it just really depends on where you are, and I think it has a level of humidity. There are places where ticks kind of go and shelter over the dry heats when we get them, but we kind of have switched from having more of that drought for the past couple of summers ago to being more wet. So it's just like private conditions.
I know.
But I'm hoping I'm not going to see any. Like I said, I've seen one in Pasigo, but my horse is down in Amsterdam and he's getting trained. And I pulled 4 off him when he had one trail ride. So I'm like, oh. But you guys have been a wonderful audience. Thank you so much for your time.